Well, you didn't make it easy. Wonderful night it is. Yeah, I know. Find out. Sure, right. Yeah. I think I'm alright. Alright, let's... Yep, just go through this. I wish I could skip the investigation now, but oh well. I guess I just get to go through this. Sold hands. Right. Pop back. Why? That's nice. I love my scrambled eggs yesterday. Like so much, why don't you take a number? He's deliver something to you. Thanks. Okay, how long till it just lets me skip to character select now? Someone find him. Alright, order some lunch. You again. Hey. Of course, will be okay. Come in. Skip to the end of the scene. Yeah, we've already done this before. And here's the private number. Let's make sure we meet with Lorm at least once because last time they didn't disappear from the character select. Alright. Chapter 2. Skip to the scene selection, yeah. Okay, we haven't done production facility, have we? We've done Tatsu grocery store, and I believe we visited the library, got his books. Let's go production facility. I don't know, it just... Alright. How research is Anna doing? Cancer research style for mine. What kind of research are you doing since you don't have my blood? Specialists care a lot about genetics. We're not talking about the basics here, but the deep stuff. Yeah. Okay, so... visit the grocery store, see if we can see the orphan dragon again. Yep, subscriptions expire. For some reason I can't skip the dots. Who's that? Marisa coming here? Probably for now. Leave. I guess. Character selection, yeah. Alright, let's meet with Adian again. Should be the right address. I'm coming! Right, we've seen this. Have it. Yeah. Skip function 10 times, you skipper. Do me a favor? It's a good thing I got the map from a previous playthrough. Seem interested in doing investigation place myself. What's so special about it? None of earlier civilization, maybe it's something created by humans. Alright. I can try. Even though I should already have it. Alright, well, I can do 2 meetings with a second dragon if I want to. Let's go ahead and meet with Lorm again. There you are, come in! Sure. Honestly, I can't believe you agreed to do this again. Don't mention it. Now that I've had the chance to work through everything from last time, we can do some real work. Let's see if I can else... Okay, I do not remember Lorm's voice. Sounds great. I did a staggering amount of research on mythical humans. Here, let me show you some of the stuff I found. Sure. Sat down at the coffee table, Lorm opened up the laptop and started to type away. Seeing the laptop brought back memories. In our world, they had become obsolete a long time ago. Before I show you these images, I should probably tell you that some of them are really weird. Just don't take them the wrong way. You already told me about the 4-headed human, so I think I can handle this. Alright. He looks friendly. This one's supposed to be one of our ancestors. Ancestors? Well, those remind me of some of the dragons I've seen here, but I'm not sure what humans would have to do with this. You remember the myth about our creator turning into a dragon, right? Yeah. Now, here's an interesting question. What species did that human turn into? There are a number of dragon species nowadays that aren't genetically compatible with each other. Or did the human choose one of them? Did they perhaps procreate? A shared ancestor is one option, and this would mean that different species split after the human's involvement in our creation. If human DNA was involved in some way, that might explain how our different species came to be. Take a far ancestor of ours and apply various amounts of human DNA. The result would be a number of different species, each with a different amount of resemblance to humans. Okay. Now, it has been said that an upright stance and being able to walk with two legs is a more human trait. Right. In any case, it's one of the things that makes humans unique. As a result, some people believe that certain species share more traits with humans than others. I think it makes them more noble or something. Luckily, this doesn't happen often. You can walk on two legs as well, right? Sure. In this theory of shared human DNA, this puts me somewhere in the middle, since I still have wings and horns. I can see that. Here, look at this one. Looks like someone melted. I wouldn't want to live in the same town as this fellow. Well, you can't always choose your neighbors, and this won't be any different in my game. Not sure he's a particularly friendly one, though. Actually, I think this is supposed to be a human female. Interesting. There's some that don't think humans are friendly at all, though. Really? So far I've only heard positive things about us. Some interpretations of our myths don't exactly paint you in the best light. There are also people who oppose the idea of human worship that their involvement has meant for us. In what way? I say human interference was unnatural and that we need to get back to our roots. And how do they think they can do that? Apparently, it means refusing to use modern technology and living in caves or the wilderness again. Like an animal. Pretty much. Most of us think those people are crazy, though. Sound like flat earthers. They sound like the part for sure. They're harmless, really. You probably won't see any one of them around here anyway. It's an interesting style, though. Do you know how these pictures were made? No. Oh, I'm sure that information was provided when I looked them up in the library, but I didn't copy all of that. And you're using these as references? I make do with what I can get. Maybe now you can see why I wanted your help, though. Alright, what do you need me to do? I just want to make some quick sketches. You can stand over there by the wall. Okay, I can certainly do that. I walked up to the spot he indicated. When I took my place, I saw that he had laid out a number of pens, paper, and other art supplies on the table. Oh, this is going to take a while, isn't it? I'll try to be quick about it. Do you want me to strike a pose or something? The T-pose should be good to get started. What's that? Just put your arms sideways so you look like a giant T. Oh, I get it. Raising my arms to the sides, I wonder how long this will take. Great, now try to stay as still as possible. Can I still talk? Sure, as long as you don't talk with your arms. I wasn't allowed to move my head, I stared at Lorem sketching my figure. This went on for a few minutes, till I suddenly heard the sound of a door opening. Oh, yep. I was right, this was Lorem's place. Hey, Lorem. Alright, the human was going to visit today. I totally forgot about that. You don't mind if I take a seat, right? You just want to study CAD. Like you aren't doing that right now. Besides, the room is as much as mine as much as it is yours. I'll just watch and be quiet. I thought you had experiments to run. And they are running. I'd rather not be confined to my tiny room for the next 2 hours, staring at the ceiling waiting for them to finish. But no experiments on CAD. Yes, I'll just sit here, maybe take a few notes. I'm sorry, CAD. This is my roommate and longtime best friend, Ipsum. Nice to meet you, Ipsum. His scientific bluntness may be off-putting, so please bear with him. Speak for yourself. So much for those two being best friends. Lorm returned to his drawing, the silence only being interrupted by the strokes of his pen. Something interesting happened at work today. Did they finally figure out it was you who was playing all those pranks? No, they'll never catch me. I was talking with a colleague about the humans here, and I offhandedly mentioned that Cat was going to come over. I don't like where this is going. Some hours later, Anna barges in my office says Cat is off limits to anyone besides her as far as tests and experiments are concerned. Well, I'm not taking any samples. I can hardly be blamed for just looking at Cat. Yes, but that does make me wonder. Cat, did you agree to visit her and undergo her rigorous testing regimen? Not really. Evidently, she thinks otherwise. Oh, and Lorm, have you seen my Ipsum sphere recently? Did you take it with you when we went to the park the other day? Yes, I did. Well, that's the last time I saw it. I must have lost it then. I searched the whole apartment. Did you go into my room? No. Maybe someone found it. I had it registered in my name when I got it, so if anyone found it, it should show up sooner or later. What was an Ipsum sphere anyway? It's just a glorified toy for grown-ups, really. You have no idea what you're talking about. Ipsum sphere is a very sophisticated tool with a countless number of uses. Like what? It can levitate and follow you around, take photos, even use it as a calculator. Making it a glorified toy for grown-ups. I use it for my experiments. Well, if they can take photos, I wouldn't need to stand around like this. That is, if we had it here now. It is a great companion for all situations in life. It's much easier to draw from a live model than a photo, though. Easier for you, maybe. Just doesn't take much longer, because my arms went numb a while ago. Yeah, I think you can relax for now. I'm nearly done with this one. The only sensation without my arms, so I relaxed. Slowly, I began to regain feeling in them. Alright, now turn around. Thought we're done already. Not unless we want our humans to like a backside. So that's what this is all about. You know what I mean? I know exactly what you mean. Isn't it my turn to draw you now? That's not how it works! I wouldn't mind getting a portrait of myself. I can already see it. The light shining from above, caressing my luscious mane, highlighting each lock as they interplay. This is going to be a long day. That depends on how fast you are. I was now facing the wall. I couldn't see what Lorm and Ipsum were doing. After a few seconds of silence, I heard some whispering coming from the couch. What are you talking about? I didn't want to be rude, but I was just curious about your vestments. He said, and I quote, "This would be more interesting if it wasn't for those clothes Cat is wearing." Really? I'm just saying it'd be hard to study an insect if there's a piece of cloth draped over it. Wearing that much just seems odd to me. If humans wear clothes like this, it's only appropriate to depict them as such. My scientific curiosity shall remain unsatisfied. Because Cat is not here to do that. You get in big trouble with Anna. We actually have a pretty big variety of vestments. I can tell you about it. Sounds good, but not right now. I have to finish this up first. Alright. So, Ipsum. I've heard a lot about experience in science now. What do you actually do? I work in the facility as a biologist with a minor in physics. In addition to the office, I also have my own setup here at home. I assure you, it's properly isolated from the rest of our apartment. It even has a fume hood to prevent accidents. But I only use it for the smallest of experiments, usually things unrelated to my job. Sounds interesting. Don't get him started, we won't hear the end of it. Maybe you would like to talk about your hobby instead, Lorm. Is this already a hobby? I guess you could say so. I was talking about his other hobby, though. Oh, that. I don't know, it's a little embarrassing, to be honest. No need to be embarrassed about your hobbies. He likes flowers. Once he even made a crown out of daisies. Cutest thing in the world. Aww. Don't listen to him. As usual, he only tells half the story. What's the other half then? I have an extensive love for botany. The fern he keeps in his room must be the happiest plant alive. I find gardening to be very relaxing, especially when the birds are singing in the morning. It's so nice to go out there with a nice cup of tea and work in the garden of our apartment building. It reminds me, Ipsum here has quite an extensive tea collection, although I'm not sure if he prefers to hoard tea or gadgets. It's a mystery. I heard there's going to be a model of the Ipsum spear that can actually make tea. That's going to be a must-buy. Can it also make cups, or are you supposed to sip it out of the spear itself? Don't be silly. You two sound just like an old couple. Couple? Us? Not really. We've known each other for a long time, though, if that counts. I think it does. By the way, Ipsum, you're not from here, right? What is that supposed to mean? Well, you look nothing like other dragons I've seen here so far. I suppose that's true for Lorm as well. You're both pretty small. But you, Ipsum, also have hair. That's certainly new. You know, as long as we ignore Sebastian that we technically haven't met yet. It's not as unusual as you might think, but you're right. There aren't many of us in these parts. I imagine being smaller than the rest of the population would come with its own challenges. It's not that big of a deal. Something is unreachable. For me, I can fly! This apartment was actually intended to house one dragon of a bigger size. That not only makes it fairly cheap, but also big enough for both of us. One thing I've been wondering, how do you even sit in one of those chairs? Wouldn't the backrest cause problems with your tails? I see what you mean. For me, it's never been a problem because most chairs are bigger than I am. It's just a question of getting into the right position. However, this might be different from those of us who mostly walk on 4 legs. They usually don't use chairs like these at all. I've seen a few try though. I suppose they want to imitate humans this way. Even if they can't stand or walk like a human, they can try to sit like one. With varying results! Some I've seen looks really funny trying to fit in chairs that are too big for, or sitting in odd ways that clearly don't work with their anatomy. I see. Norm, you asked me about breath weapons last time, but I don't think you ever told me if you had one. Probably because it isn't worth mentioning. It may only be a very small flame, but it can get very hot. What about you, Ipsum? Yes, Ipsum, what about you? My breath weapon is elocution. Its words are more powerful than anything else. Same as mine then. Alright, I'm done with this one. You can turn around. Does this mean we're done? Let's make one more. Maybe something dynamic. How dynamic are we talking about? Something that isn't static like the reference models I just did. You can strike a pose. Something that's just you. Alright. What pose should I go for? Thoughtful pose. Alright, how about this? Works for me! By the way, did you get the groceries when you came home from work? Yes, just the usual. Are you too sure you're not in a relationship? I certainly am. Actually, Ipsum is deeply in love with his home laboratory. Oh, really? I'm not even going to deny that. When I'm not working on something at the office, I do so here. What are you currently working on? I've been looking into physics of teleportation. Talking about the portal, right? Well, I don't have permission to even approach the portal, so I have to resort to a theoretical discussion on its mechanics and make do with what I can pull off in my home laboratory. Maybe I could tell you a few things. That won't be necessary. I have already read all the available test reports. Okay. Are you aware that using the portal could be incredibly dangerous? Not sure what you're talking about. but you don't have a complete understanding of what the portal actually does and what it means for our world at large. In order for a portal to function, a natural wormhole is required. It is trapped and becomes the portal's entry. The portal manipulates the wormhole's exit. This way, something can be sent to whichever destination is chosen. Now, there is a theory about the purpose of the natural wormholes in the universe. It states that they act as the support pillars of the space-time continuum. How so? How should I explain this? I think the video game analogy worked pretty well. Sure, in a video game, what happens when you meet the edge of a map? You hit a wall. That happens in some games, but in others, you appear on the opposite side. Right. How does this happen? If our world was a perfect sphere, someone could just keep flying the same direction and eventually they would end up at their starting point again. Too bad it's more egg-shaped. Sure. It's just the result of physics. In the abstraction of a video game, however, it doesn't work like that. They don't try to replicate a spherical world, but use a 2D plane instead. This is getting confusing. Imagine a piece of paper with a world map printed on it. Right? While it shows the entirety of the world, it's still just a simple, flat piece of paper rather than a sphere, right? Sure. Let's assume that in a game, our world map looks like that. Now, what happens when we approach the edge and walk over is that we are teleported to the edge and walk over. It is that we are teleported to the opposite side. I think they should just get rid of that it. Okay. This doesn't actually make the game world a sphere, but rather a torus. A torus? You know, like a donut. That's the comparison you want to make. Okay. Now things are going to get really complicated. You familiar with the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics? Let's say I'm not. States that every single time a choice is made by any actor that possesses free will, the universe splits off into different branches. This means that for every choice you have made, there exists a branch of the universe where you made a different decision. I see. Now, we can't communicate with these other branches in any way. You don't know what would happen if you made a different decision just this morning. You can make an educated guess, but the only person who truly knows what would happen is that alternate you who has made the decision is living its consequences. That is, unless we communicate with those other branches. However, there's a barrier that prevents us from doing that. This barrier is made up of wormholes. How does that work? Very similar to the torus world model that is used in games. When we approach the edge of our own world, the barrier causes us to end up on the other side instead. So this means we get teleported to the other side like in video games. Not necessarily. It would be just correct to assume that our universe is shaped like a torus. So which is it then? Do we get teleported or not? That depends on how you look at the wormhole's function. Imagine the shaved paper is the entirety of our world. Took shaved paper from a orange stack and showed it to me, marking a spot near the edge with a pen. And this is where you live. Unfortunately, your workplace is here on the other side. You're next close to the right edge of the paper. If the world was flat, this would be very unfortunate. However, the world was a torus. The left and right edges would be connected. You could take the shorter route. All to work by going over the edge. Now, let's say this is the only possible because the wormholes connect these two edges together. Happen to be right at the very edge and look beyond, everything would look perfectly fine for you. Given that these wormholes stay in place, you would never know that the world is actually flat, and that you can only travel to the other side because the wormholes connect the edges. You'd think that the world is a torus. Right. However, what if the wormholes don't actually bring you to the other side by teleporting you, but instead just bend the paper into the torus shape and hold the edges together? Honestly, that's Personally, that's more what I figured wormholes would do.